No one at NASA expected the signal to return. It wasn't supposed to be possible, not from that part of space and definitely not with that kind of strength. But on a quiet morning inside Mission Control, every screen froze at the exact same second, and a pattern appeared that didn't match anything humans have ever recorded. For the first time in years, NASA's top scientists looked at each other with the same expression. Confusion mixed with something they'd never admit publicly: fear. And this was only the beginning. At first, everyone assumed it was just another glitch. NASA deals with strange data all the time. Corrupted readings, sensor noise, random bursts from deep space. But this one was different. The pattern wasn't random and it wasn't weak. It came through with a sharp, rhythmic structure that didn't match any known star, planet, or cosmic event. Even stranger, it originated from a region of space NASA had mapped dozens of times. A place that was supposed to be completely empty. No stars, no planets, not even dust, just darkness. The more they analyzed it, the more impossible it looked. The frequency shifted in a way that suggested movement, but nothing should be moving out there. And when the signal repeated a second time, stronger than before, the room went silent. Whatever this was, it wasn't behaving like anything NASA had ever recorded. And the next discovery would make things even stranger. The team ran the numbers a second time, expecting the pattern to fall apart under closer analysis. Instead, the opposite happened. The signal didn't just repeat, it sharpened. The rhythm became more precise, almost intentional, like something was adjusting itself to be heard more clearly. What unsettled the scientists wasn't the strength of the signal, but its direction. It came from a stretch of deep space NASA had labeled a cosmic dead zone, a place where nothing should exist, let alone something capable of sending a structured transmission. As the data streamed in, one of the analysts noticed something even stranger. The frequency wasn't constant. It shifted in a way that suggested movement, not random drift, but controlled motion. Something out there was changing position, and it was doing it faster than any natural object should. The room grew quiet again, the kind of silence that only happens when everyone realizes they're looking at something that breaks the rules. And then NASA spotted something they were never prepared to see. The moment the object appeared on NASA's tracking feed, the entire room shifted. People who had been casually monitoring screens suddenly froze. The object drifted across the display with a smooth, deliberate motion that didn't match debris, satellites, or anything NASA had logged before. It wasn't spinning, it wasn't drifting, and it wasn't following any predictable path. It moved like it had control. Then the public ISS livestream began to glitch. At first, it was just a flicker, a few dropped frames. But as the object edged closer to the camera's field of view, the feed cut to a bright blue screen with a message viewers had seen too many times. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. The timing was impossible to ignore. Within minutes, social media erupted. Viewers claimed they saw a dark shape near the station seconds before the feed went down. Others insisted NASA had cut the stream on purpose, something they'd been accused of doing before whenever something unusual appeared near the ISS. NASA blamed a signal interruption, but even their own engineers weren't convinced. Behind the scenes, the team scrambled. The object wasn't just drifting, it was accelerating. Every time the mysterious signal pulsed, the object shifted direction, almost as if it were reacting. And the closer it moved, the more unstable the station systems became. It was as if the object wasn't just passing by, it was watching. But the real shock came moments later, something that forced NASA to admit, even privately, that they were dealing with something far beyond their understanding. Once word leaked that NASA couldn't explain the object, the internet erupted. People began digging through old footage, archived signals, and every strange moment NASA had ever brushed aside. Theories spread faster than NASA could respond. Some insisted the object was nothing more than a malfunction, a sensor glitch amplified by panic. Others pointed to the infamous Black Knight legend, claiming NASA had finally caught a clear glimpse of an ancient object orbiting Earth for thousands of years. But the most unsettling theory came from a handful of independent researchers who analyzed the signal pattern themselves. They noticed something NASA hadn't mentioned publicly. The rhythm wasn't random. It repeated with a structure that looked eerily similar to encoded information. Not language, not numbers, something else entirely. Something that felt intentional. NASA refused to comment, which only fueled the speculation. People claimed the agency was hiding the truth, that the livestream cut wasn't an accident, and that the object's movements were too precise to be natural. Even some former NASA employees hinted that this wasn't the first time the agency had encountered something like this. Just the first time they couldn't bury it fast enough. And just as the theories reached their peak, the situation took a turn no one expected. Just as theories reached their peak, everything changed. The signal that had been pulsing steadily for hours began to weaken. At first it was subtle, a slight drop in intensity, a small shift in rhythm. But within minutes, the pattern that had baffled NASA's best minds started to break apart. The once sharp pulses stretched into static, then into faint, uneven bursts that barely registered on the instruments. Inside Mission Control, the tension was suffocating. Analysts watched the waveform collapse in real time, unable to do anything but record the final fragments. The object that had been moving with such deliberate precision began to drift, losing the strange coordination it had shown earlier. Its trajectory flattened, its speed dropped, and then it simply vanished from the sensors. No explosion, no debris, no trace. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. NASA ran every diagnostic they had. They checked for equipment failures, solar interference, even the possibility of a cyber glitch. Everything came back clean. The instruments were working perfectly. The signal had stopped on its own, and the object had disappeared without leaving a single measurable footprint. For the first time since the event began, the room felt genuinely shaken. Whatever they had been tracking wasn't behaving like anything natural. Natural objects don't accelerate on command. They don't respond to signals, and they definitely don't vanish without a trace. But the most unsettling part wasn't the disappearance. It was what NASA found when they reviewed the final seconds of data, something that raised more questions than answers.